Good evening. So this is probably my second ever talk, so bear with me, I guess. But let's go from here. So my talk tonight is basically personal notes that I've just kind of applied through the various points in my career so far. Scarily, I've been in the industry for 10 plus years now somehow. Currently working as a lead developer at Tech. We're a site security company. I'm currently working on a lot of AI projects and how that impacts user journeys with software. Recently co-founded Leaving Send as well. So that's transforming company project problems into digital products at the end of it. So show of hands. Is anyone here a student or junior dev? Or new to a job? New team maybe? Okay. So I'll put this at the end just to make sure that there's some hands going up. So does anyone need a job, at least for the next 5 years? Good. Yeah, there we go. Right, nice one. So I believe that there's two important moments in every single job. Doesn't matter what the role is. You've got the first 6 months, and then you've got the rest of the time at the company. So I've split it into two parts this talk. Part one is what I'm calling the 6 months mindset. So day one, imagine that you found your desk. You've been probably given some form of a work laptop. There's your first chance to breathe. Because if you're anything like me, you come in, you don't know who you are, where you are, and there's always that kind of bit at the back of your head where you feel like you need to show off your technical prowess. But actually, what can make the most impact into day one of your first job is to start getting into the listening, the learning, the absorbing mindset. So be humble, embrace being the newcomer, regardless of experience. Certainly, don't be afraid to ask the obvious questions as well. This is your time to ask those questions. Like I say, focus on that learning mindset, learn the team's current goals, challenges, priorities. So the next step really, as you get into your days and then weeks, is to work out who is who. So you want to essentially, whether you're a freelancer or just a new addition to an internal team, there's a lot of stakeholders to figure out. And there's potentially end users as well to engage with. And if you're lucky, you're already a part of an existing team with existing chemistry. So, the first few months is your opportunity to work out who's got authority over decision making, who potentially has skill sets that you can complement, and to work out the overall process map of your team, and how your personal tasks impact the wider workings of a business. So then once you've kind of, you'll probably be shadowing a few meetings in your company. You're probably doing a lot of introductions. The next is to set up that work laptop and to figure out the code base as well. And it doesn't matter how technical you are or how senior you are. Every single code base that is new to you will always feel complex or unfamiliar. These code bases can consist of many years, many developers, many business decisions that might not quite make sense regardless of how technical you are. So try and find that balance of, introducing your modern ways of working, but absolutely check back on how previous and current work is currently being done. So then basically on that note, the key to it is break down the problems that you're normally getting, that you get assigned. So what I tend to find is a really good onboarding solution is to ask for what's the good first issues in a team's backlog. This normally consists of a new feature with a simple flow or potentially a bug fix, something that you can engage with your other peers essentially, to get a bit of a conversation going, get a bit more of an understanding of the code base that you would have been presented with. So not only should you be looking at your own work as well, but like I mentioned before, try and take a look at like other people's change requests or how something has previously been designed. See how they've approached it and try and match that, and how they've approached the task at hand. And the key to it is document what confuses you. I don't know if anyone's like me, but if I sleep, I forget absolutely everything in the previous day gone by. So document everything, whether it's sticky notes, whether it's in a notebook, whether it's, you know, using the notes app on your laptop, just somewhere, because then at least you've got something to refer back to. This also comes handy later on. So, like I say, it's not all about how technical you are or how much expertise you've got in a certain field. There is a skill to learn to ask questions and to ask the right questions as well. It's okay to feel out your depth. That discomfort that we all feel in a new job is actually a sign of upcoming personal growth. But just remember and just make sure that you know how to climb upwards rather than dig downwards when you're faced with a problem and you're not sure how to ask the question. So I thought I'd make this a little bit interactive. I'm hoping that it's quite clear, but which is the better question here and why? This doesn't work, what's wrong? Or I've tried X and Y, but I'm seeing this error. Am I missing something? Hands up if you think it's this one. Okay, nice. I am going with majority. Hands up if it's the latter one. Okay, why?
Because you're ruling out what you've already done before you even ask the question.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're, you know, eliminating the simple debugging and, you know, to show that you've been proactive, that you haven't just looked at it and gone, oh, I don't know, you fix it for me. Like it completely changes the conversation. So yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that the majority of you all put your hand up for the second one, but yeah. Cool. So like what, you know, what you will be feeling at this point in your new job is that you're probably picking up, you know, small bug fixes, small feature changes, and all that is key to build this kind of momentum in your job. It's not just about the big bang change. So if you are fixing small bugs, you're writing missing documentation, you're improving test coverage, all this is actually helping your team and helping you integrate, because that's actually probably the team's blind spot. They probably haven't had the capacity before to fix, you know, test coverage, and because it's always left as an afterthought. I don't care what people say. And also, you know, not everyone can document or find the time to document. So if you're writing little notes and you think that it's going to be handy for someone else, that's absolutely this kind of, you know, small win, but an early win. You're probably going to go through an onboarding process as well. You might have someone to pair program with. You might have a line manager that will check in regularly. And basically, this is your opportunity to actively listen to feedback. It's not a personal attack. Every time you commit code, you should be asking for a code review, and for someone to assess how you've approached that task. You know, this is the perfect opportunity for someone to highlight, you know, a mistake to kind of take note and not make it again. You might be faced with some ways to improve next time or before it actually hits production environment. And with this, please take note of it and try and implement it and be proactive to say, hey, I listened to what you said. This is what I've done. Is this correct? And I don't believe there's a person in the world that you know would be offended by that. That, you know, everyone likes to be listened to. So that's part one. That's kind of like a run through of what you should be doing your first days, weeks, months to try and get you through that horrible kind of probation period. So let's fast forward into the rest of your time at that company. So hopefully by now your hypothetical probation would be a distant memory. All those uncomfortable first week questions should start to turn into everyday no-brainers. So what's next? So like I've said a few times now, the best developers don't just write code. They understand the why they are writing it. Who is this feature for? Why are you building this? And I believe that you should always justify any task that you're assigned to impact 4 categories, which I'll just show to answer those questions. So I believe that with every task you are ever assigned, it should fall into at least one of these categories. You know, does it save or make the company money? Does it save or make the company time? Or does it improve the customer experience? And does it mitigate risk for the customer or the company? If you feel at any point that the task that you are assigned, so think back to today, think of your own personal tasks. Is the task that you're working on hitting any of those categories? If not, that might be the time then to say, hey, I'm not sure what the value is here or why I'm doing this. And there'll always be a why. It's just that sometimes it's not obvious from just addressing the ticket alone. So yeah, like I say, it's a really good exercise, and I use that in every single kind of issue that I ever get assigned, because I don't want to be sat there working on something I don't believe in. And find the confidence to speak up in discussions as well. Like, not everyone has that kind of technical advice to give as well. So, you know, you would have learned your code base by now. You would have understood the team process. You're in that position to give that technical input and advice. And it doesn't have to be just these areas. So, you know, if you're planning architecture changes to how something's structured, or, you know, your everyday team planning, when a solution seems overly complex, if a feature impacts performance or user experience, it's better to have the discussion outright first, and then make sure that it is addressed as something progresses. And kind of like what I've been touching on as well, shift from just executing it and actually take ownership in your work. So rather than just going, oh, I've solved the ticket, you know, here's a fantastic opportunity to kind of see it all the way through, not just I've done the code and there we go. So there's loads of factors considered. I've just picked out a few. Considered like the feature's long-term maintainability. A lot of what we work on, you know, it isn't just there for a year. Like these systems or the clients that we work for, they're around for many years to come. So you want to make sure that the work that you do now works in, you know, I've seen systems that are like 5 to 7 and beyond older than that. So you want to make sure that, you know, the work that you work on scales for that demand. And like I've also mentioned, make sure that things are well documented and scalable as well. You know, when you're fixing bug fixes, don't just fix the bug. Ask what caused it. I don't know if you're like me as well, but I find that this is a really important part. Every time I make a code request, I actually write a description of why I'm making that code request, why someone should review it, because there's always that horrible moment where you go, who's wrote this? And then you go to the Git blame log, you go to 6 months before, and then you realize it was you, and you've got no idea what possessed you to make that code request. So it's always nice to have some sort of written description. If it's not for anyone else, make sure it's for your 6 month self in the future. And with documentation as well, like I think there is a massive skill to unlock in yourselves by just helping others. Like, you don't have to be a senior to help a junior. You know, you could be in the same sort of experience, but it all helps to benefit the team. It helps to benefit the work that you do daily. So there is, you know, there's a fantastic quote there about, like, it's not just about retaining the knowledge, it's about releasing the knowledge as well to other people. So be proactive in the first day of onboarding. Show them the projects that the team's currently working in. You know, show them the current tasks, the current problems that they're facing. So then you give that person what you wished that you had when you first started, is just someone that'd say, hey, I know that this is a really daft question. I know because I asked it myself and I made notes of what the answer was. Answer questions that they may have in team chats. You know, we're really used to just getting on with our own work. Try and spark the conversations to make sure that there's nobody struggling behind the scenes. Review pull requests, like that, even if it's just for clarity, ask questions about why someone has done work in a certain way, because 9 times out of 10 they didn't question that there was an alternative way of doing it. I'm a really big believer on sharing useful resources as well that you found helpful in your own journey, because not everyone reads the same things. And like I've stressed more than enough now, show your documented notes. Don't be scared to show that pile of sticky notes that you've just had lying on your desk for God knows how long. Show them your past notebooks, get people to read through them. And I'm going to finish actually on this slide, which is what I think is actually the main important thing, is that don't rush for making that big impact. Completely avoid burnout. Find that sustainable pace. I hope by now it's clear that it's not that single big bang project or code change that you make, but it's actually the thousands of tiny consistent habits that you naturally compound throughout your daily work. That's what makes an impact on the team. Thanks for listening. Any questions, any feedback? Okay.
Obviously got a passion for what you do. Do you ever give yourself time to just purely self-improve, not necessarily attached to work that you do? How do you view that?
Yeah, so 2 ways of doing that. You can do it internally inside your work hours, and again, it kind of goes back to those 4, where does this self-improvement help? Or you can, if you feel like actually you'll benefit from doing this completely external. So for me personally, I try and avoid web programming. I'll try and do something else. So I take up like games programming. It's still programming at the end of the day. You're still learning, you know, key concepts and that, but it's completely detached. Still something that I'm passionate about, that you can then take something from that and apply it internally into your own work, you know. I also find, though, that not everyone has the time. I'm a tired dad of 2, so I rarely get the chance. So what I tend to do is make sure that not only are we building new features in a job, but we're also going back, maintaining old features. And I also quite stress that the importance of research and development as a team as well. So, you know, the taking a week to explore as a team or as a smaller group of a potential new feature where you haven't planned everything out, you haven't worked everything out. It's a really great way to self-improve, both individually and as a team as well.
Just going to ask you how I can get it past the wife without an
Yeah, less sleep, early mornings or late nights. Cool. Anyone else? You're good? I hope I didn't rush through that. So, cool. Cool.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yes. I did say remind me, didn't I?
I did, yeah, you did.
There is a bit of a warning, okay? Rob has kindly attached some very flashing images, okay? Not flashing, woo! Oh, there it is. Flashing, as in like, you know, photo flashing. So if you do have a sensitivity, then obviously please do leave if you need to, okay? But we'll see how you go.
All right.
I'd say that.
Well, managed to lose my interview now. The notes anyway. But anyway, I'm talking about creative coding on the web, and this is a part 2 to a talk I did in PHP Stoke, and it doesn't matter that none of you saw part 1. And for Greg, this is the TBC edition, because you asked what my talk was about.
I did see part 1.
Yeah, you did see part 1. So, but the TBC just for you, and those are 3 pictures of my cat Lucy, who I am a servant to. I am human. I have seen a stored procedure. Thank you, Neil. And I work at yellow companies because the last 2 companies I worked at are yellow. So what is creative coding? Kind of pretty much the opposite of what Ollie was talking about. Completely the opposite. It doesn't matter whether it's making your money, risk, whatever. I don't know. It's just whatever you want. But it's basically a mixture of art, design, and technology. Just smash them together. Do whatever you think that needs to be. I got this cool diagram I stole off the internet, which kind of shows you got inputs and outputs, and you got you could take an input from fucking almost anywhere, and then an output to anywhere. You got jewelry and all sorts of things on here. But I'm gonna do a demo for you today on live visuals and music visualization, and we're going to take in, I think, MIDI, audio, gamepads, and an output, I guess, as well, something. Anyway, so but just keep it to web because it's Snapchat Meetup. So we're going to have WebGL, which is about 3D and 2D stuff on HTML canvas elements. We've got Web MIDI, which is like MIDI. I don't know if you're really into music, you'll know what MIDI is, but it's old things, but not necessarily old. It's all new, but it's all 7-bit and fun. We've got Web Audio, which is about processing and synthesizing audio. I'm not going to be synthesizing any audio for you today because it's really hard, but we'll be doing some processing. And Gamepad API, which is a nice, simple API for just reading game controllers. So give me a second while I create some tabs for myself. Where's that going? This way. Okay. This is the most boring part of the demo. So okay. Ooh. So there's the full screen button. There it is. And then I just need to.
It's crazy blur there.
I know. I can't really see.
The second one down.
The dark hole.
No, it's not. Why is it not there? Oh yeah, it is black hole. That's what I want. Yeah. How did you all know? I just guess. Anyway, so I've drawn a beautiful box for you to show off the powers of WebGL. This is a live coding environment. So we've got it's quite small, isn't it? Let me
That's fine.
we'll zoom in. There we go.
It just showed up now.
Yeah. Okay. Over here. So yeah, we've got a box on the screen, and then we can change the color of the box. Got blue. It's classic RGB. So a nice orange. No, not orange. That's definitely purple.
Documented.
And we can make it smaller. We can make it bigger. But we can also rotate it with a lowercase t on time. So the box is 3D, but you can only see 2 faces right now. So I'll give you a second face, and I'll show off that you can do trigonometry, maths. There you go. Impressive. I know everyone is amazed at my skills of 3D. But I do have some slightly more impressive, examples of 3D in here. We've got quite a few boxes now, arranged in a beautiful circle. going round and round. We've got colour changing with the time and all sorts of things going on here. And I've got this fun little planet setup thing here, and it's spinning and that. So, all right, I've shown 3D is, whatever. And this is my crazy Lua-based syntax with this funny little piece of language here. I've committed quite a few sins of programming, like your own domain-specific language. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I have, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll start off some of the MIDI funness now. So I don't know if someone wants to volunteer and come up here and twiddle some knobs. No one to come twiddle some knobs? Jack's going to come twiddle some knobs. Okay, cool. So this is... you might have to come this side.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. So I'll tell you which knob I program up, but
Okay.
so let's go with knob number 0. That's that one. He's correctly guessed knob number 0.
Shall I twiddle it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Amazing. And then so I can basically hook up all the knobs to any like number in here. So I'm gonna confuse you and do you can use a slider now, slider 0, which is actually numbered number 1 on my device here. But yeah, and actually I've got a pre-made version of this one. So slider 0 does something, and I think everything's really black. So there we go. So I think you've got knob 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can twist a few things, and then slider collapses the rings of the planet. Oh yeah, amazing. But yeah, that's MIDI. I've realised when I made this, MIDI was actually probably the most boring bit I could have done. That's why I bought a really tatty game controller, because it's much better. Let's find the next bit. So I've got somewhere in here. I have another version of this. Oh yeah, yes.
Trying to break it.
You're trying to break it?
No.
Yeah. So okay, this one is now cooked up to the game controller.
Oh.
Yeah.
New knobs.
I think you've got a left stick and the right stick, and the trigger are hooked up. Left trigger.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was pretty.
So yeah, it's a bit fun. And while we're here, we'll show off some of the other things we can do with WebGL. So we've got shaders for processing images here, and this is just a random shader that turns it into a grid and just randomly places what's being rendered somewhere on the grid. Though annoyingly, most of the screen's black, so you can't see it right now. But I guess if we make it bigger, it fills the screen. And then we've got a classic kaleidoscope. Oh yeah, beautiful. But I have secretly snuck in an extra function here, which is FFT, which is the web audio part. So Fourier transform. So this is in. Yeah, I don't know. I forgot it. Anyway, but in this case, it's a segment of the amplitude of the audio frequency. So 2 is kind of near the bass, I guess. But we've got no sound, so I should hook up some sound, which I have on here somewhere. Here we go. Okay, cool. Oh, it has just disappeared, sound man. Cool, okay. Probably can't see it because of the kaleidoscope, but the ball is... No. The bit around the planet's going a bit fun. Oh, it's cutting out because I'm talking, isn't it? Yeah. How about I put the final bit in and I shut up. Crazy. Oh, another thing I've snuck in here is beat, because the processing I'm doing is matching the tempo. So, not that you can tell because I'm talking over it, but the color is changing to the beat. Perfect.
Oh, sorry. Let's do that.
See how long the song's got left. Oh, it's got. Oh, it didn't feel like a long song when I was playing it, but this feels really long. Stood up here doing this. Yeah. Anyway, any questions while I bit twiddle with knobs? Square? The beginning. I can bring you back this. I can bring back the box. There it is. Doesn't he? Oh yeah. Way too much. No company value. No. No risks averted.
This does answer the question about creative, self-improvement.
Oh yeah. This is. I love that question. It was almost on cue, you know.
Yeah. If only I should have booked you next song.
Oh no, unfortunately. I did it once in Stoke, but with an older version of it, C++. This is the second version of the software that I've written in the last 10 years. Anyway, I want to see the end of the song. Yes, audio worklets. Alright, there you go, that's the end. Yeah, an audio worklet called Orbio, which is a C library compiled with WebAssembly. There was WebAssembly in here as well. Everyone loves WebAssembly. Anyway, that's all I've got. Apart from, I guess, there's supposed to be a final slide, I suppose, that I can't seem to escape from my tab. There you go. It's a can of beans I found in the freezer at Tesco's. Oh, and I should thank Shirabon for letting me play his song, because I did ask him, so we didn't get a strike on YouTube.
Well, we're not. Yeah, I mean, we're not monetized. So
Yeah, I know.
we appreciate the fact that you asked for that.
Cool.
Any questions? Because we do have a few.
What do you mean by WebAssembly?
Well, with WebAssembly, you can basically almost get native performance by using compiled languages on the web, and it basically just kind of compiles it down into the worst JavaScript you've probably ever seen in your life. But it's JavaScript. But yeah, WebAssembly. So you can, in this case, it's a C library called Orbio, which was compiled with, what's the library? Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, compiled to run on the web in an audio worklet. Yes. Which is a whole area of the web that it's not like workers, it's like littler workers than workers, tiny little LUTs. Like the corn, what is it? Corn on the coblets? I don't know what they're called. I don't know. No, it's called on the cob, but it's a smaller one. What's it called, Amy?
Mini court.
Coblets, that's it. Yeah, it's a coblet. Yeah. Anyway.
I thought it was quite good because he had it.
Yeah. Cool.
So can you make your own music as well in that same way that you're making graphics? Could you make your own?
Yes, there is. Other people have done that with other software to do audio, and there's lots of same things like this. This was kind of like, I went to a music event probably over 10 years ago, and someone was coding visuals on the screen to the music, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. And I used their library for a bit, and I was like, kind of got bored with it. So then I kind of made my own, and then I got bored of coding in C++ because it was horrible, and I kept moving computer, and then I spent a month setting the project back up again, and then I was like, oh, I was just doing the web because it's easier, and then there it is. There you go. Cool.
You say it's easier, but there's probably people here who are like, what on earth, how do you do that?
Yeah,
So,
it's
explain
completely undocumented code, you know. It's completely the opposite of everything Ollie just said. I just kind of was like, oh yeah, I want to render a box on the screen, and
Could we do a part 3?
there could be a part 3 where I
Where
go
you
through the
explain
code.
the actual code?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably do many parts, but you know, there's the whole fact that what you were reading was like compiling to JavaScript. Technically, there's a compiler in there as well.
I half expected you to just put unicorn, open bracket, close bracket, and one would just.
Yeah, could have done. Yeah. Next time. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I think we've just nailed Rob for like maybe at least one more talk. So well done for self-volunteering there. So for those of you who haven't been here or haven't been here for a while, we do a open discussion after the break. So on the table, past the pizza, you do have to walk past the pizza. I'm sorry about that. But on the table, there are some post-it notes and some pens. Okay, you can use those to write down some talk topics, some questions. You know, it doesn't have to be about the talk tonight. It can be any burning question you have. If it's related to web, then obviously that's a bit more interesting for the rest of the team. But there are questions that we do get, like cats and dogs. You know, as open as you want. Yeah, soup, but best soup, fine. Okay, whatever tickles your fancy, whatever you want to have a chat about tonight, go and pop your question down on the post-it notes. And once you've done that, okay, and there are post-it notes there for you with topics and talk titles, question titles and stuff on. Go and give a little mark on them, like a tally, to say I'm interested in this one. Okay, the ones that have got the most tallies will go through first, and the ones with the least will go to the back of the queue. If there are some that are sort of very related, then I'll kind of group them together, so we can start to continue the conversation with those. So yeah, have a break, have some more pizza, drinks in the fridge. If you want a coffee, just give us a shout and make you coffee. And then we'll come back. What's the time? 4 past. Shall we say? Should we give 25 minutes? 20 minutes? What do you reckon? This is the longest break we've ever had, by the way. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
20, 25 minutes? Yeah? Okay, I'll shout you all back. If there is anybody who doesn't want to stay for the next bit, okay, you don't have to, I'm not holding you here, okay, and you do have parked in the Riverside car park, or whatever it's called, waterfront, that's the one. Then you can validate your parking token on the print next to the printer, okay? So if you do want to head off before, just let me know and I can show you how to do that. And you get free parking. So if you've not parked here, next time park here because you get free parking. So, okay, happy? Didn't miss anything? No? Cool. We'll see you in 20, 25 minutes. And thank you guys for talking.